What if the most important moment in the entire history of our species unfolded just 4 days ago, and you were never meant to witness it? Imagine a number so small it feels harmless, 12 hours, but that number is not harmless. It is the razor-thin barrier between knowing and not knowing, between revelation and silence. That was the exact window during which NASA quietly held data powerful enough to reorganize everything we believe about the universe before choosing complete darkness. And we're not talking about a shaky camera phone clip of a light in the sky. We are talking about high-precision, high-resolution scientific measurements of an object that refuses to behave according to physics as we understand it. So you have to wonder, when the evidence is loud enough to force the rewriting of textbooks, why are the pages being locked away? Start at the first undeniable fact. April 3rd, 2025. China's National Space Administration publishes the clearest and most detailed images ever taken of the interstellar visitor known as 3I Atlas. NASA received the exact same dataset nearly half a day earlier, 12 hours, yet not a single pixel was shown to the public. Let that sit with you. China's images aren't ambiguous. They reveal an object moving through the solar system at over 200,000 miles per hour, displaying geometric surface patterns that no natural erosive process can replicate. These aren't vague shapes or tricks of light. The resolution is sharp enough to distinguish features the size of 30 meters across, and what those features show has rippled through every observatory, every university, every closed-door scientific panel on Earth. But then something eerie happened. 6 hours after China's data went global, NASA's official social feeds went silent. No posts, no clarifications, not even a neutral acknowledgement that the images existed. Reporters tried contacting the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, but every inquiry was redirected to the Office of Communications, which has said nothing, responded to no one, and continues to maintain a wall of silence 4 days later. What could possibly justify this blackout? To understand the weight of this moment, you have to go back to where this story began. January 18, 2025. The Atlas Survey Facility in Hawaii detected an object moving with such unusual velocity that computers flagged it instantly as extrasolar. This wasn't a comet, it wasn't a rogue asteroid, it wasn't anything born inside our solar system. The orbital calculations were precise and unambiguous. This thing came from interstellar space. Only 2 other confirmed objects in human history share that origin. First was Oumuamua in 2017, the elongated object that sparked global debate when Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb pointed out that its acceleration didn't follow natural models. The second was 2I Borisov in 2019, a perfectly ordinary comet that comforted skeptics who wanted Oumuamua to be a fluke. 3I Atlas should have been routine, an icy body roughly 3 kilometers across, passing through our cosmic neighborhood on its way back into the void. But February changed everything. As the James Webb Space Telescope, the Very Large Telescope in Chile, China's Sky Survey Array, and NASA's Deep Space Network all pointed toward 3I Atlas, a strange truth emerged. The surface wasn't natural, not in shape, not in distribution, not in pattern. Most objects shaped over billions of years carry the scars of nature, craters from collisions, irregular shapes sculpted by gravitational tides, chaotic textures from radiation. Nature favors disorder, it creates randomness, it creates asymmetry. 3I Atlas does not, it shows order, repetition, precision, features that align too neatly, stretch too uniformly, and intersect too symmetrically to be sculpted by cosmic accident. And this is where we step into the physics of technosignatures, not signals, not messages, but physical structures that hint at artificial origin. Yet even then, NASA maintained total silence, which signals something unusual. NASA almost never requires external peer review before releasing solar system data. That level of secrecy is reserved for national security issues or discoveries that carry immediate risk. What risk could possibly exist from a distant object already traveling away from Earth? Then came the leak. An anonymous analyst posted on a restricted technical forum that 3 separate imaging sessions of 3I Atlas taken in early March were classified under a designation they had never seen applied to astronomical datasets. No explanation, no timeline for declassification, nothing. If that message holds even a sliver of truth, it means NASA had these detailed images long before China released theirs, and made a deliberate conscious decision to withhold them, not just from the public, but from the global scientific community. This isn't caution, its suppression, and just when things couldn't become stranger, the world shifted again. April 5th. The US government entered a partial shutdown due to congressional budget disagreements. These shutdowns happen, yes, but NASA typically continues scientific communication even when funding freezes other departments. This time, silence. Perfect, uninterrupted silence. Some journalists noted that the timing was convenient. Perfect cover. A congressional aide even suggested off record that the shutdown may have been accelerated to help NASA hide behind a bureaucratic shield. We cannot verify the claim, but it highlights how suspicious the timing appears, and here is the part nobody can deny. As of April 9th, NASA's website contains zero reference to China's images of 3I Atlas, zero acknowledgement, zero commentary. NASA's official stance is that all data is being compiled for a comprehensive peer-reviewed study later in the year. When pressed about the geometric patterns identified by China's researchers, NASA responded with a polished line: they cannot comment on the work of other institutions until they complete their own analysis. A reasonable explanation, until you realize their analysis was reportedly finished nearly a month ago. Even if that leak vanished tomorrow, the fact remains, NASA had a 12-hour warning before China's release. They could have said something, anything. They could have contextualized, clarified, expanded, or even dismissed the significance of the structures. Instead, they chose silence. That silence speaks louder than any announcement. Why? Some experts say NASA is simply being protective, terrified of repeating past mistakes where early excitement turned into embarrassment, but that logic collapses under scrutiny. Refusing to comment on another nation's public release is not caution, it's avoidance. Others blame politics. The US may not want to validate Chinese findings during a period of heightened geopolitical tension, but astronomy has never worked that way. Astronomers collaborated across borders even during the Cold War. Science has always transcended politics in this field, so what explanation remains? Enter Dr. Marcus Holt, a former NASA mission planner now working in private space policy. In an interview on April 7th, he suggested that NASA might be operating under a classification directive triggered only under extraordinary circumstances, such as the detection of possible extraterrestrial technology. It sounds sensational, but history supports the idea. NASA has been restricted before during the rise of spy satellites, during spectroscopic mapping technologies, and during Cold War surveillance programs. Holt implied that if 3I Atlas shows evidence of artificial construction, even accidental artificiality, national security protocols may have activated immediately. This theory explains everything: the delayed release, the silent observatories, the unexplained classification, the timing of the shutdown, the sudden blackout of public communication channels. And now we return to the patterns, the ridges that stretch across the body of 3I Atlas like machine-etched scars. Dr. Sarah Kellerman, a planetary geologist from the University of Arizona, spent days studying the Chinese images before publishing her preliminary findings on April 6. She compared the lines against every known natural process capable of carving linear features. Fragmented impact crater chains curve slightly. These don't. Tectonic fractures vary in thickness. These don't. Sublimation channels from evaporating ice disperse unevenly. These remain perfectly aligned. Nothing in nature remains this precise across kilometers. And that is where the mystery deepens.